know this if you ever have a puppy. It's like what you do with a puppy, if you don't want to have an insane dog, is you take it everywhere, right? You socialize it. You take it to meet all sorts of other dogs and all sorts of other people, and you take it out in the traffic, and you just expose it to everything, you know, on that edge of development. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do with your children. It's like, if you want them to be able to thrive anywhere, you have to take them everywhere. And that's going to catalyze their development away from you as a dependent being. This is also why, you know, this idea of the emancipation of women, which Nietzsche actually has some qualms about, it seems to me exactly appropriate, because the right message from a woman to her child is like, I love you a lot, but I have some things to do, right? Adults have some things to do. They're adult things, and they're important, and lots of the time they take priority. Like, if you're in trouble, fair enough, but if I'm busy, leave me the hell alone. Now, in order to do that, you have to be doing something important. And women tear themselves up about this, especially once they have kids. It's like, I'm so conflicted by my career versus my children. I never feel that I can get them both right. And like, this is a real problem, because it's a full-time job to have kids, and it's a full-time job to have a full-time job. And it's hard to mediate that morally. But first of all, you think, look, your job isn't to make the kid happy. Your job is to make the kid into an adult. And they're going to spend most of their life as an adult, not as a kid. The goal isn't kid. Although the goal might be adult who rediscovers what they lost in childhood. That's a more sophisticated idea. That doesn't mean they should remain children. So you need to model competent adulthood. And a lot of the time that's going to mean, kid, like, go play by yourself. I've got things to do. And then the kid looks up and thinks, adults have important things to do. And they're really happy about that, because they're going to be adults. And so they're going to squawk about it, because kids want attention all the time, generally speaking. But they want to see that there's a barrier there, because it indicates to them that adulthood is the goal, and that it's better to be an adult than a child, and that even if you're a mother and a loving mother, there are things that adults are doing that are so crucial that should be the primary focus. And so I think as a woman, you can have your cake and eat it too, and I think that's far better for your kids. The best predictor of childhood educational status, eventual, is IQ first. You can predict the IQ of a child by taking the IQ of the mother and the father and averaging them and subtracting a little bit if it's high and adding a little bit if it's low. So there's a heavy biological component, but there's a cultural component, but there's no effect of father education on the educational attainment of the child, only maternal education, which is, we don't know why. No one knows why, but it's quite a striking finding. And so it's extremely useful, I believe, even if you want to optimize the relationship between a mother and child, that you open the doors of opportunity as broadly as possible to women to take their place as, you know, fully functional adults in a complex economic community. It's better for the children too, for the women to have their cake and eat it too. And I think that's where the moral mediation takes place. You can do a great job as a mother by not doing too great a job as a mother, right? It shouldn't be all you are. And the problem is, if it is all you are, and for lots of women that's extraordinarily attractive, because, you know, they might be a little cynical about having kids to begin with, but once they have a kid, they think, oh man, I like this kid way more than I thought I would. And I've seen this with so many women, even ones who've had spectacular careers. You know, they come back after 6 months after having a baby and they say, well, I had no idea how important this would be. It's way more important than anything I've ever done on the career front. You know, and these are people with high-end careers, and that's the right response. But if you don't have that, and the child now is everything, because that's where you found your identity, it's really easy to fall into that Oedipal trap. It's like, if you don't have your own life, why are you going to let your children grow up? Because they actually need you, right? They've given your life significance in the most fundamental sense, and it's certainly possible that you won't be willing to let that go. Because you have to ask yourself, like, under what conditions am I willing to relinquish my children? And one of those has to be, you have some things to do, you know, with your partner and with your own life. And so you don't want to be guilty about that. It's something you should do. What is religious? Part 3.